Hey everybody, welcome back to Viridian County. It's me, your host, Red Kool-Aid. On the last episode, we built the harbor side town of our village, I guess, of Harper's Ferry. This episode, we're going to focus on building some historical housing. I like this avenue shot. I need to come up with a name for this street. We're going to get some historical housing in this little block right here. I decided to name the neighborhood Franklin. Not sure which Franklin is named after. Possibly Benjamin, maybe Franklin from GTA, or that turtle. But before we do that, we're going to build a little bus exchange right here outside of the neighborhood that's going to kind of service what we've already built, connect Harper's Ferry to the rest of the city, so everybody can kind of, get their shop on, get their travel on, and they can all kind of exchange up on this little temporary spot. We might not even keep this forever, but we're going to lay it down right now so we can keep our traffic at a good percentage. Put down some paths, line everything up. And there we go. And I'm going to use a little bit of surface painter. Get the roads right first. There. All right, lined up. Surface paint everything, and this is a little brick planner thing I just have saved in my Move It that I made once, and I just gonna use it right here quickly. I don't think I have Avania's planters downloaded at this point, so I'm gonna use these little temporaries. Like I said, this whole thing is just kind of temporary. I just need people to be able to exchange without having to travel too far. Drop in a couple of food trucks, or some little taco truck, and that's it for right now with this.
Hey, yo, we just got word that Barack Obama will be in the city this week. He pulling up at the lobster pot, you know, the one with the good-ass fish sandwiches. Y'all keep it locked in right here to 98.5 City Time.
So going back into our neighborhood, we're gonna lay out some housing. It's only 4 assets, I think 3 or 4 assets that make up the main bulk of the little community. That's this larger building. Really don't like that orange piping, but we're gonna deal. And these Richmond Street joints, really like those. They seem like buildings that I've actually driven past in my own city, like around the corner. So I think these are the 4 assets that we're gonna use. Get these colors right, and then we're gonna start putting everything in. So I'm gonna redraw the layout. I really wasn't satisfied with the layout, but those are the 4 assets. I want it to be a little bit more space between the bus area and the kind of the last street in the neighborhood, because I do want people to be able to just walk from this neighborhood to the bus station. Definitely not gonna run in the wrong line. So here I'm struggling with my road layout. So in this centerpiece that I'm making, I'm already knowing I'm gonna put like a basketball court, just, like a courtyard feel, where this is where everybody gathers when the kids get off the school bus, when people first get off work and they done got home and settle down. You kind of open your door to your apartment and you can kind of look out onto this courtyard and just see the world moving. We'll lay out some of the rest of the roads, and we're gonna start placing in where the assets go. Like I said, the bigger apartment building, I want those to kind of serve as center point, and I want to group the other buildings around it, and not really a pattern. Like here, you can see me here thinking I'm doing something cool, and I quickly do away with that. But I just want to have an enclosed feel. Like it's connected to the city, but this neighborhood has its own identity. This used to be a dental school or a college for people when they first got here. A small college when this community was first being developed. They got disused, they got a bigger university, and now this is, it's been bought by a developer. They turned it in, they renovated, they put some hardwood floors down. Y'all know how they do. And now they getting money out of it. Maybe even this low income housing. It's still kind of fly on the inside, but you don't have to be, work at Skylines Bank to live here. You can work at the Ingles. You can work at the Food Line and still live in these apartments. On the outskirts of the neighborhood, I'm gonna lay down some of these charmwood. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I love these little assets. They come in the architectural knickknacks pack on the asset workshop. I like them because they're just really small, and they kind of come pre-decorated with some fencing in the back. I'm gonna lay some of these out on this just to kind of give it some separation, because the rest of what I build will have this same row house vibe. So it kind of blends the neighborhoods together, even though we haven't built the rest of it yet. Put something on the corner, like an actual corner shop that we can detail up. People can grab something to eat without having to leave the community. Maybe some Chinese food, maybe get a haircut. Definitely a barbershop would be in this community. No doubt. Here I'm thinking about what I could put on this other corner. I have a bad habit of always having to use corner pieces, and as we all know, there's not that many. I'm definitely struggling. We're gonna speed this up in a second because it's really redundant. Like I said, it's only 4 assets. It's the detailing and the vibe that we bring to it is really gonna make the entire area pop. This episode is gonna be a bit different. I think the time lapse is a little bit longer on this one because there's 2 major parts of it. But there's some cool pieces, man. Stick around. So the next day sometime, it seems like I just decided to put a parking lot on the side and detail that off. Like, again, I have a bad habit of the corner thing, so it wasn't necessary. We'll decorate that up. It's more important that we get the neighborhood done. We really need to add to it. You can look at my RCI. It's completely out of whack. I need a lot more people. We'll make sure everything is lined up. One thing I always make sure I do, I think this is something I heard Prez say, is make sure you set your houses back a little bit on the street so you got room to detail. You can put some slightly bigger trees. You won't feel like you're cramming things. We're gonna throw a mural down. I'll surface paint some of this in. It will all glue together once I get a few more of the assets sprinkled out. We're gonna double up on some of them, and a couple of them I haven't even shown yet. There's one smaller brown building that definitely has this same historical old school vibe to it. I'm gonna add a couple of those in, but for right now I'm gonna turn the radio back up. We're gonna get into a small time lapse because a lot of this is just the same thing over and over.
sounds of the city. Shout out to Franklin, historic black neighborhood. My grandmama and them from that side. If you know, baby. It's 98.5 City Sounds.
All right, so the next part of the neighborhood that I'm building, and this is more towards our industry district, right behind it, right next to it, and between that and the Franklin neighborhood. I want to build a sunken rail, like an exposed rail that just runs through the back sides of these buildings. Again, this area of the town probably used to be all industrial, but portions of it have been converted. Down the line, you'll see me put a really big disused factory that's been converted into some loft space, and I want to be conscious of that, and I want to go ahead and sink my rail now. I don't want to put any houses down, anything. While I got the space, we're gonna go ahead and just put these brick networks in. I'm not sure which pack these came in, but they're dope because they come with a tunnel, actually, like a tunnel that matches. So you can see me here sinking that down under the street. I'm gonna have to work with a lot of surface networks on this because the ground is just so funny style. Like it does a weird shadow thing on the streets. On this particular part right now, since I don't have my big urban roads yet, I have to use small one lane like pavement streets. They look terrible, but I do end up changing it. But like I said, that shadow line right there, I don't like that. I did use a terrain conforming path to try to clean it up, but I just don't like it. I think I end up using a brick quay and hiding the quay behind the brick network. I don't think I do that on camera, so I'm just mentioning it now. If you don't see the shadows later on, that's why I kept at it. Some of the stuff that I do has to be off camera because it's just ridiculous OCD stuff, maintenance work, but I do try to slow down every once in a while and highlight particular parts. Like this one Brooklyn asset won't let you bob off that blue awning, so here I'm using some of the creator assets to try to just make something to kind of cover that up, because I do end up using this Brooklyn asset a few different times, and I wanted to give the neighborhood as much variation as I could for the cinematics especially. And just on the corner right near the beginning of the industrial area, I'm gonna lay down 2 more disused factory assets and just some commercial warehouses just to kind of round off the neighborhood. So the last thing I do in the Franklin neighborhood is I just kind of finish some of the bare spots right on the corners on the outskirts with some of the modern commercial they look abandoned really, but they're actually commercial units, and I put in 5 or 6 more commercial units in a little strip right behind the bus station, kind of as a divider for the neighborhood. I'll end up turning that middle piece into a park to just kind of separate everything, but I did want to give the people getting off the bus some shopping opportunities on their way home. And then I use a simple brick retaining wall to kind of take your eye off the elevation change. There's a really slight elevation change between the shopping and the bus station. And just before I jump out of this neighborhood, there is one little building on the corner right here. It's one of the Brooklyn collection, and I wanted to just do something kind of special with this spot. I just feel like this could be a cool spot for cinematics and pictures for IG and stuff like that. So I really wanted to kind of take my time and kind of going through. I have like a lot of billboards, so it took me kind of a while to get what I wanted to do. It started out just looking kind of cheap, so I kind of undid everything, finally moved the sun so we can all see. And then I added in a UK small commercial asset, and I really like the front of it. What I eventually end up doing is putting a DJ turntable and some speakers right there. Like it's kind of like maybe that's a pirate underground radio station outside people kick it or something. I don't know, but I just knew it could be a cool spot. We're going to speed it up a little bit while I detail up the rest of this neighborhood. Just a couple of props. I love these payphone props. Whoever did those, triple salute. Just gonna sprinkle around some props just to kind of make the neighborhood look busy. And on the opposite corner of that same Brooklyn asset, I put just another couple of small UK assets. Tucking me. I just want the building to look busy. Like I want a lot of commercial. Even though there's technically a supermarket on this side, that supermarket must be really small. We're gonna put a Willie's Cajun chicken, a couple of tables, and we're just gonna sprinkle some of these King Leno neon signs and some of the architectural knick-knack signs. And the corner right here, I use the lunchroom sign asset. The rest of this is pretty much just me detailing up little small pieces like this, keeping the cinematics in mind. So we're gonna turn the music back up and I'm gonna tap back in. Take a break from the detailing for 1 second, and I'm just gonna check around and make sure everything is just working how it's supposed to work. Traffic's not getting snarled up. I don't want any complaints. A lot of times you may watch people's series and everybody's dead, nobody's got a job, there's no goods. It's like, fam, fix that. But that's I'm not knocking anybody's play style. Everybody plays different. This is a sandbox game. Play your game. But in Viridian County, we go for functionality. So we definitely stay on top of our maintenance, before we continue on detailing and erecting a couple of more big buildings. The first one is gonna be this factory. I'm not sure the creator, but I saw this one asset in their collection and I immediately downloaded it. Then I take a old steel frame factory sign and just mount it on top. And in the lore of this city in this game, this used to be a factory. People used to get money. Now they turn it into loft space. You lose money. To the Blackstone cigar factory. Now it's just the Blackstone lofts.
Private party this weekend at the Blackstone Lofts. Y'all keep it tuned in with me right here at 98.5. DJ Rucko got your tickets at 6 o'clock.
And the very last asset is, I know something my mama would be proud of. We're going to put down, but first we got to take out a loan because our money is bogus right now. But we're going to put down a nice old Baptist church somewhere people can praise Jesus and whatnot. I think that's important, especially in a city that, it's obviously a southern city. And it's obviously a predominantly black city. There will be churches everywhere. I don't have enough churches. If you want to know the God's honest truth, there's a severe lack of churches in this town for it to be authentic. But we're going to put a couple here and there where we can, and we definitely like this one. I'm also using some of these graveyard assets in the back. I want to kind of give the church a bigger imprint. So I want to put some fencing up. You'll see all this in the detail and laps that we're about to get into. But I really like this asset. I downloaded a sign that goes with it too. It doesn't go with this asset, but I mean it's a church sign. Like it was an actual like a steel street church sign with an AME thing on it. I was amazed. So here I'm thinking about putting a path, but I end up putting like a little one-way kind of wraparound boulevard. You know, churches kind of got their own little entrance, and the parking ends up being across the street in that little blank space towards the right. And that's basically it. Everything else is detailing, so I'm going to turn the radio back on one more time, and I'm going to tap back in with you towards the end. So y'all hang out. One of the last things I do to the good old Blackstone is I put some commercial shopification down in the front. Again, this is a renovated, shop. As soon as people heard these things were going to be online, businesses were vying to get in this place. So we got like a Nespresso cafe. I'm really big on little fruit stands. You'll see me do a million of these. I love them. I just love the assets. So we put that on the corner, and down at the opposite end, I put I'm not even going to attempt to try to pronounce the name of the store, but it's a little grocery store asset from somewhere in Europe, somewhere I believe. So jumping back down outside of the Franklin neighborhood, we're going to detail up our church a little bit here. It takes me a while to kind of get my flow of how I wanted to do this. Front part, I end up just using, classic bare trees, a couple of leaf decals, just kind of sprucing things up using some bushes. You'll see everything in the cinematics at the end. I'll tap back in towards the end, chop it up with you one more time. But I love the fall tree set. I end up pulling everything in, fencing it up really, really nice, and using these brick decals to kind of make the outside have just kind of a platform. I didn't want it to just be church grass and just fall off. We use some classic brick wall. I messed with this for a while because I actually didn't know what I wanted to do, so I end up double walling. There's an outer wall as well that kind of makes the area feel more like a park. Not really, because I know I wouldn't want to have my kids playing near where the graves are. That's how you get ghosts. But we still wanted to kind of make the area. Also, off camera, there's just a park. Just to break the area up, there's a park and a police station next to it. That's pretty much what's on this block. It's just that church, a park, and the police station. And across the street, I end up turning that one commercial asset that you saw me drop when I put the Gus's down in the Crump Food Mart. I turned that into a Bud Light bar. And my reasoning for that is I love the juxtaposition of the Saturday sinners, Sunday morning Christians. They're right there across from each other. But I in the lore of our game, they got a Cold War going on, and the bar's closed on Sundays. So no turning up on the day of worship. Come in, praise some Jesus, go get you something to eat, little Golden Corral maybe, and then you take it on in and watch the game. We're gonna put some of these flower assets down. Still working on this front. It took me a lot longer than I thought. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't go to church. I don't know what they look like in the front. I was just winging it here. We lay down some of these curb assets. The statue that I end up putting in the front is actually Frederick Douglass. Not necessarily a historical Christian figure, but definitely a dope historical figure. So I feel like we, give him his flowers right here. Maybe he went here. I don't know. Everything else is just detailing. I'll tap back in right after the cinematics, right before the last cinematic frame. So y'all stay tuned. This is Viridian County. Doors of the church are open. We're gonna pass that collection plate around one more time. I'm your Pastor Red Kool-Aid, and I want to thank y'all for coming for episode 3. Y'all make sure y'all come back for episode 4. We're gonna do something else really, really dope. We're gonna keep stepping it up. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the things y'all know, and make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok @Red Kool-Aid, spelled funny how you see it on the screen. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Viridian County, we out.